On that exciting note, good afternoon, everyone. Let's clap for them. Let's clap for them. That's a Volta Heritage and Dance Ensemble. Thank you very much. On this note, I would want to say good afternoon to each one of us here. The way you are not smiling, kindly turn to the next person by you and say, you're welcome to the Anyudo Auditorium. Today is going to be very interesting and exciting. Thank you all for coming for today's Fireside Leadership Chat. Well, for our online audience, if you're wondering where you are, you have actually clicked the right link. You are joining us from the UHAS campus, the Anyudo Auditorium. And today, before we set the tone, we would want to invite Vanel. Are you here? Okay, so Vanel would give us the opening prayer. Yes. Please let's clap for her as she comes. She's with the cohort too.
Shall we bow our heads in prayer? Our kind and loving Father, we come before thee. Father, we glorify your name and we worship you for allowing us to meet in this manner. Father, as we discuss and learn from the keynote speakers and the other speaker, we pray that we may learn and be able to implement what we're going to learn in this leadership across borders, Almighty Father. As we lead in our various countries, we pray that whatever we will learn today will be able to be implemented. It is in the mighty name of Jesus Christ that we ask and pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Vanel. In any Ghanaian home, if you visit any family, they would want to welcome you. And to do so, we have our very own, the Dean of Sonam, School of Nursing and Midwifery, to give us a welcome address. Let's clap for him as he comes upstage. Please keep clapping. He's Professor Peter Datara.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You are not saying it well. Good afternoon. On behalf of management of University of Health and Allied Sciences, and on my own behalf, I wish to welcome you to today's second Onlep in African second Fireside Leadership Chat. Today, last year this time we were here for the first Fireside Leadership Chat. And last year, the university hosted a powerful woman, a distinguished scholar, who happened to be the person of the current ambassador to Canada and the former pro-vice chancellor, University of Cape Coast. Last year, those of you who attended, you can attest that it was an experience that the participants could never have gotten if they had not attended. This year again, we are here to witness another life experience. I've always said that it's not everything you learn from the book. Sometimes the best way to learn is to learn from leaders who really went through the mill and they have gotten to the top. Today, I'm sure when the chairperson of this program introduced the guest speaker, you would understand that again, the university has brought a very powerful woman, an experienced woman, who will be sharing her experiences. And I urge students, invited guests, participants, to listen keenly. You will be taken home with some experience, thoughts from our guest speaker. Take time to listen to her keenly. When it's time for questioning, ask all your questions that bothers your mind. Once again, on behalf of the university management and staff, I welcome you to today's program, and I urge you all May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Peter Adatara. So today happens also to be May Day. And to all the hardworking staff and also nurses here, would want to say Happy May Day. For those of us joining online, once again, you have joined the right channel if you are joining us on UHAS TV. And today happens to be the Fireside Leadership Chat. And the theme is Leadership Across Borders. In any gathering, we will, of course, would need someone to chair the occasion. And we have an excellent person to do this. She's the first of many. The first of many. The first professor to be a nurse. The first nurse to be a professor. She's also the second, she's the first vice chancellor. First vice chancellor of female of this honorable institution. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Do you? Are you sure? Oh, Prof, please, we have you. So please, with a standing ovation, giving honor to whom honor is due, let's kindly give Vice Chancellor the honor to give us her response as a chairperson for today's conversation. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you. So, Peter welcomed us on behalf of our registrar. So thank you very much, Professor Adatara. My responsibility this afternoon is to give a brief statement on why we are here and also introduce our distinguished speaker for today. A very good afternoon to all of us again. Oh, good afternoon. Oh. Thank you very much. For the sake of those here for the first time, for the sake of those that are asking what is Onlep in Africa, I'll give a brief overview of the whole program or project and then transition to introducing the guest speaker. So this program, Oncology Nurse Leadership Program in Africa, is a 5-year funded project being run at UHAS as a 6-month postgraduate certificate program. This program is important because we realize or recognize the need that nurses play or oncology nurses play in providing care to cancer patients across the African continent. We also thought that it would be necessary for nurses to have very strong leadership skills to move oncology care forward. Oncology care, oncology research, oncology advocacy, etc. And we want to say that the problems within the African continent are almost similar. So why don't we train nurses from all across the continent so that we can all provide care adequately to our patients and their families. So this project is hosted here at the University of Health and Allied Sciences. Here because the Vice Chancellor of this university is an oncology nurse. And she happens to be the only oncology nurse who is a Vice Chancellor in the African continent. And so this is the right place to host the program. This project is a partnership between the International Society for Nurses in Cancer Care, Cancer City Challenge, and the funding is from Amgen. Are running the program. Even though Amgen is the funder, it provides experts who also teach on the program. So the host institution, Madam Guest Speaker, is a state institution that started admitting students in 2012. We started with only 154 students. Now we have about 11,000 students. And we are located here in the Volta region, growing steadily. We run only health programs, and we invite you to partner with us because comes with fear, we come with stress. So part of the program rests on stress management, psycho-oncology, how we can address the psychosocial components of cancer disease. We also expect that the students would develop skills in networking and collaboration, develop their research skills and evidence-based practice, and of course, they are supposed to carry out interventions that solve problems. Those that qualify to be admitted are those with first degree minimum. But those here, majority of them have master's degree. You should have been working within the oncology space for 2 years. Space as in teaching, space as in research, space as in clinical care, advocacy, etc. But you should be a nurse. And then you, the stage that you are now, you have the potential of becoming a leader. So all of the participants, they are either senior nursing officers, principal nursing officers, and above. We don't take the very, very entry nurses. And because I'm a female, and we have few leaders who are female, we want to say that if you are a female, you have an added advantage. The current project is to train 240 nurses across the continent. Last year, the first cohort of 30 were here. Now we have 60, and the next 2 cohorts will be 60, and the last cohort will be 30. The program has 7 modules. So when you complete the program, you have a 21 credit transcript. And I've mentioned some of the anticipated impacts already in my initial introduction. That we don't want only one country to benefit, but we want the countries within the continent to benefit from this program. So the first cohort, we had 142 applicants, and we brought in only 30, because that is what the budget is for, from across the continent. And so we had 7 countries: Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Malawi, Kenya, South Africa, and Gambia in the first cohort. The second cohort, we had 210 applications, and we took 60 across the continent. And so the 60 that we brought in are from 17 countries. So if I mention your country, you give me a wave, okay? Ghana. Thank you very much for coming. Nigeria. Thank you for coming. Kenya. Malawi. Rwanda. Ethiopia. Where is my gentleman? Yes. Sierra Leone. Where are the 3 beautiful ladies? Okay. Tanzania. All right. Zambia. Oh, yes, you are there. Lesotho, Eswatini. Botswana, Cameroon, okay, Seychelles, Gambia, Uganda, and South Africa. You are warmly welcome to Ghana. Most of you, this is the first time you are coming to this part of the continent. You are welcome, and you are welcome to the Volta region. So if you look at it critically, you realize that some of the countries are still empty, and some of the regions of the country are still empty. As we go into the next cohorts, we'll try and reach out to some of these areas that we have not been able to recruit participants. So why are we here? Why the whole Fireside chat? Why? Prophet Adatara, in his opening remarks, said, it's not everything that you find in the books. No matter how we teach you, no matter how we give you assignment to go and read, no matter the group discussions, the activities, the projects, it is when somebody has lived the experience that the person can share that this is what I did and how I did it, and therefore you tomorrow, when you meet a similar situation, you can navigate. So we thought that we'll bring very experienced leaders to inspire you. They will share what they know, and through that, it will build your capacity. And some of you will end up networking and even receiving mentorship from some of the people that we bring to this platform. And overall, we want to strengthen your leadership skills as you provide service to cancer patients. So last year, we brought this distinguished honorable lady, Professor, who is now Her Excellency. The time she came, she wasn't Excellency yet, but now she's Excellency. And she's now the ambassador of Ghana to Canada. And she shared openly with us, and we learned a lot from her. Today, we are privileged. We are very, very, very privileged to receive here in our midst a noble lady from Uganda. The Ugandan participants, where are you? Give me a wave, Uganda. So your mother is here. Your auntie is here. Your sister is here. She is the country representative for World Health Organization here in Ghana. And Madam, we welcome you to the university and again to the Volta region. Dr. Braka has over 2 decades of experience in disease prevention, immunization, and emergency response. She is a medical doctor, and she had her medical education in Uganda. She continued to Johns Hopkins School in Maryland and had her master's in public health. From May 2025, she was brought here to the country to lead the WHO office here. But before then, she worked in Congo. She'd worked in Nigeria, Ethiopia, Uganda, etc., etc. That is why her team is leadership across borders. How did she navigate these spaces? Our distinguished guest has served on several boards and committees, several of them. And I just put here just a few. So National Health Sector Coordination Platforms in Ghana. She worked as contributor to a regional emergency response coordination at the WHO Africa office. And she's done a lot of technical work, leading a lot of teams across the countries that are mentioned and globally. So such an opportunity, provided her spaces to lead. Spaces to lead. The one that attracted me is that she led coordinated responses to major disease outbreak and humanitarian health emergency across 47 countries. 47 is a lot. 1, 2, 3, count up to 47. So she is the right person to talk to us this afternoon. So all that she has done has been recognized across spaces. And we want to say that we appreciate what she has been able to achieve, and we want to acknowledge your contribution to healthcare within the African continent. She's also published research work in many journals. So today, we are interested in how it all started. We are interested in the lessons learned across the journey or along the space as she journeyed from one stage to the other. We are interested in the differences in these many countries that our distinguished speaker has worked. We are interested in how a woman, very young as she is leading an international and global organization such as the WHO. I'm sure it is not a walk in the park. And I'm sure she has a family. How is she juggling? Did she come with her husband and children? Or she left her children in Uganda and she's here alone? We want to learn from her. We want to learn from her. So on this very note, we want to say, Dr. Fiona Braka, you are welcome to UHAS. Before you even speak, we appreciate you and thank you for coming to share and also helping us to learn from you. So, Madam MC, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please let's keep clapping for her. Keep clapping. Thank you very much, Prof. VC. At this point, I'm sure we are all eager, as myself. And I think before Doctor comes here, I see Prof. MG. Prof, please, we want to see you with a wave. So that's Prof. Margaret Japon. And all staff here, we also acknowledge you. So for our guest, our keynote speaker, she's already been introduced. She's Professor Fiona Braka. She's distinguished public health expert with over 20 decades of experience in leadership, disease prevention, and health emergency management. She's currently serves as the WHO rep to Ghana and has led major health initiatives across Africa, including efforts that has contributed to the eradication of the wild polio in 2020. Let's clap for her for that. She is also deeply passionate about mentoring. That's why she's here for the next generation of leaders. Fortunately, hopefully, we all are potential leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, giving honor to whom honor is due, and with a standing ovation, let's please welcome Dr. Fiona Braka to give her speech. Please keep standing and clapping as she comes upstage. You're welcome once again, Doc.
Please sit down. Good afternoon. I am so delighted to be here today. This is actually my second visit to UHAS. I was here last year during the closeout ceremony for cohort 1, I believe. And I want to congratulate Professor Lydia for this excellent program that you are convening here, bringing oncology nurses and instilling leadership principles, skills, exposure. It is very critical. So please allow me to appreciate you very much for that effort. I wish you all a happy Labor Day, a day for all of us. We are all laboring in some way. And for me, I was delighted to have this day to come and spend here in the Volta region, to have this chat on a topic that is dear to me, a topic that I live every day and that I aspire to see more and more people being groomed to be leaders. So I take it as an utmost privilege. The topic is an interesting one, leadership across borders. And I chose these colors, or I found these colors, because as you can see, there are different patterns, but they are trying to blend together to give us a very nice picture. And that is all of us. We are coming from different backgrounds. We have different skills, but we are all here for a common purpose. And that is the world that we live in. And we need to get comfortable with living with differences, embracing differences. And I hope that this chat will enlighten you about how we harness differences in different people for a common purpose and a common good. And I begin from Mahatma Gandhi, a famous champion of peace and moral leadership, father of the Indian nation that led the successful independence of India. And he says that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. For me, this is a description of what leadership is about. It is one of the descriptions. Leadership is about service. It ceases from being about you and it becomes about others. As you grow in your leadership journey, you'll find that in the beginning you're trying to, it's about me. I want to build myself. I want to be exposed. I want people to see me. I want I. But as you progress in your leadership journey, it's less about you and it's more about others. And where does it all begin? When I reflected, for me, it starts with the beginning, your childhood. I had to dig up these pictures just to give you a view of who I was as a little child. And as I reflect on my leadership journey, I have to start from the beginning. And why I do is because it hit me not too long ago that is where it begins. I was interviewing for this job of being a country representative. It's a series of interviews over time, but the final one is a whole day, and you're taken somewhere, and you're interviewed by not technical people. They are actually psychologists. And you prepare for interviews. I'm sure you know what an interview is. You read the questions that they could ask you. You prepare. Many times there are technical things. And so it was structured in different blocks of themes. The first one I went into, the question that came out is, tell us about your childhood. What was it like growing up as a child? And I was startled because that was the least expected question I would anticipate in an interview for a WHO representative. Tell us about your childhood. What was it like growing up? Did you have any family traditions? So I had to organize myself and start, because with interviews, there's always, you have to think about what do they want? What are they trying to gauge? It didn't hit me immediately, it hit me later on. That how you are brought up, in what circumstances, in what environment, it defines the kind of character and the leadership qualities that you have. And it's not to say that there is one correct way. We are brought up differently, but it is to assess how it shapes the leadership attributes that you have. And it's important for you to know that. You need to think about it. So, my own middle-size family, middle income, fairly stable childhood, values. My parents liked to show love, have people around. We always had people around the home. My father was a giver. He liked to give. My mother was a natural, firm, but very loving, and she nurtured, and she led. She took control of the household. She reminds me of that Proverbs 31 woman. So in charge of her territory, but firm and kind and of love. And so the family values of love, of care, of bonds, and it was also, we were a Christian family. And so the role of your background in shaping your character, you need to be self-aware about that. Maybe you didn't have a stable family. Maybe you came from a single parent family. What did that teach you? Maybe your resilience comes from that. Maybe your survival skills come from that. Maybe your hard work comes from that. Like I said, there's no right way or wrong way. And by the way, we do not choose which families we are born into. For those who are Christian, you know the story of Jeremiah, who was called in the Bible. God called him to do an assignment, to go and speak to people that were evil-hearted. And he told him, he said, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I had an assignment for you. So all of us have a purpose and we have a destiny. The question is, how do we fulfill that destiny? It has already been determined. So we do not choose who we are born into, which I did not choose my siblings, I didn't choose my parents, but they were an important piece of my character shaping. And so the families that you are born to are already predetermined, and our experiences are different. My question to you is, are you aware of what your character has benefited or has been shaped from your background? My education, another foundational aspect of leadership. Many of us, growing up, looked at education as a ritual. We go to school because mom said we have to go to school. I have to read, I have to pass my exams. Many times you can't even see how the subjects are applying, but education is extremely important. I recently interviewed had an interview for a podcast that was focusing on the role education has played in leadership. And for me, it was also a good reflection that education sets a foundation. It's not just about passing exams. Education builds you up in different ways. It exposes you, it gives you knowledge, it builds skills. There are skills that you build during education. You are here to get knowledge. You are networking, you are being mentored, you learn problem-solving skills, you learn how to communicate. So it's not just about passing exams. Those skills that you get in your education journey are also extremely important for leadership. So the other thing is that education is not a beginning and an end. We continually have to keep learning. The world is changing, and this is why this is great. Most of you have gotten your bachelor's degree. Prof said that some of you have your master's degree, but you're here. You're taking this 6 months program. That is great because the world is changing. There's so much more information coming out every day. We have to keep learning. So it's not static. It doesn't have a beginning. It doesn't have an end. It's a continuous process. So maximize opportunities for education. So I was privileged after going through my basic and extended education. I wanted to join the World Health Organization. I did public health. I did a bit of clinical practice, but my calling, I felt, was more towards helping people in a much bigger way. Because with clinical practice, in the setting I was in, there was only so much you could do for an individual, especially individuals who cannot afford the care that they need to get. They cannot, you have someone who needs a chest x-ray, you have someone who needs to do blood workup. Things were difficult, and so you feel helpless. And so for me, there was the incline to, how can we prevent disease? How can we prevent suffering before people actually get sick? That is where public health comes in. How do we promote health? How do we make people live healthy livelihoods? How do we prevent disease? Clean water, clean air, sanitation, vaccines. So prevention, promoting health, these are the principles of, and why it attracted, WHO is attractive to me, is that we seek to promote health, to keep the world safe, and to serve the vulnerable. So I wanted to join WHO, but I had no experience in public health. And so with these organizations, you will apply, you will wait, and it can be quite challenging as you wait. But I did not give up, and an opportunity came for me to join the organization as a consultant for a short term of 3 months, but I will tell you where that led to. So it's been 23 years for me with the World Health Organization. And I cannot look back, or I look back with gratitude. I do not look back with any regrets, because the values of this organization are in sync with my values. World Health Organization is the United Nations specialized agency for health globally. We are leading and championing global efforts to make sure everyone, everywhere, wherever you are, that you have access to quality health care. Everyone needs to have access to health care. It is a basic human right. And how do we do it? We put science to work. We lead and we coordinate global efforts around universal health coverage. And so we are so excited about Ghana. Ghana, 2 weeks ago, launched free primary health care, which is a gateway to universal health coverage. We support response to public health emergencies to try and reduce suffering, reduce mortalities, and we promote healthier lives. So you don't need to be sick to be promoting a healthy life. Everyone needs to know how to live healthy. So what does it take to lead a healthy life? These are the things that we promote. So we are a leading voice for science, for solutions, and solidarity, especially in today's world. The world is getting more and more divided and polarized. And so today, WHO still stands on these principles. We promote collaboration, we promote use of evidence to guide decisions, and less of other sources that try to hinder the right decisions. So this is the organization that I work for. Our values, our DNA, we are trusted to serve public health at all times. We are professionals. We are committed to excellence in health. This is our DNA. We are persons of integrity. We are collaborative, and we encourage partnerships. We cannot do what we do alone. We harness partnerships. We promote partnerships with scientific, technical, and other collaborative groups. And most of all, we are people caring for people. Going back to my childhood, I was brought up seeing care for people, love for people. And for me, this is why WHO is resonating with my own values. WHO has gone through, there have been several landmarks in public health over the years. We've had pandemics and epidemics right from the H1N1, swine flu, polio, we've had COVID, Ebola, Mpox. We have seen the setup of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative in 1988. We have seen the coming of antibiotics, but now we are also witnessing antimicrobial resistance. That is the new public health threat. So I'm saying this because these milestones have also been part of my career journey. The Global Polio Eradication Program that was set up to try and eradicate polio. Polio is the second disease that we are targeting for eradication. The first one, does anyone know the first disease that was eradicated? There's only one disease that's been eradicated in the world. What? Smallpox, very close. Smallpox. Polio is going to be the second disease that will be eradicated globally. That means no trace of this disease apart from stockpiles that will be kept for some time in the lab. So the Polio Eradication Initiative was part of my journey. the setup of the Global Alliance for Vaccines, a coalition of groups to come together to try and accelerate vaccination. It's the most cost-effective tool we have to manage disease, prevention. That's what vaccines do. And then the COVID pandemic. These shaped my career, as you will see. So what has been my journey? I have served in the last 2 decades across several countries. I started, as I mentioned, as a consultant in the World Health Organization office in Uganda. I had a 3-month contract that got extended, and eventually I became a staff member. I moved to the international level. I worked in Ethiopia, I worked in Nigeria, I worked in our regional office in Congo, where I was able to then support response to several emergencies across 47 countries in the WHO African region. And so my work has taken me from the trenches. I have been to all sorts of places. These are just a few pictures to show that. In the places that are hard to reach, this is where WHO has to go. Because universal health coverage is about reaching everyone no matter where they are. And if you're going to eradicate a disease, it means you must find it wherever it is and deal with it. So it doesn't matter if it is Borno State, where Boko Haram is in northeastern Nigeria, if it is Somali region in Ethiopia, in the Horn of Africa, we had to go and find children to vaccinate. I have also moved from working in the front line to getting out of my comfort zone. I will be honest, I was very shy. I cannot believe I can stand in front of people and now not even have any nerve that is kicking me somewhere. I preferred to work hard in the background and do my work. But you will find that as you progress as a leader, you have to step out. You have to step out, you have to talk, you have to be the voice for these people who people do not see. You have to tell their story. So this has taken me to international media to speak about what we see and to advocate. So media houses all the way to BBC, CNN, we have to be the voice. And that was a skill that I had to develop also as part of my leadership. And by the way, there is training for all of these things. It's about how much you want to learn. There are people who specialize in teaching you how to speak, training you how to present yourself. People do this for a living. So there is help out there. There are mentors who can take you through whatever it is you need to know. Whatever you need, someone has already done it. You are not the first to do it. That is a thing that I have in my head. So who is that person that I can reach out to that can give me the advice that I need? So the training and the skills you need for the job are there. You just need to be committed to learning. This picture on the bottom right, you can see all these microphones. This was in the COVID pandemic, and I was in Nigeria. I was the acting WHO country representative. Nigeria was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to report a COVID case. Those who remember, Africa was literally the last. Everyone was wondering, how come there's no case in Africa? The other regions had COVID. And so we had the first case in Nigeria. Ogun State, and they set up a presidential task force which had ministers, and WHO was the partner representing partners on that task force. And every week we had to go and face the media. There was lockdown and people were just waiting for information. I found this process quite nerve-wracking because you don't know what the media is going to ask. You can only prepare as much as you can, but at the same time, to have it live, and you have to be ready with the answers that the public needs to have. And the other thing about leadership in crisis is that we had to accept that we did not know everything at that time. Remember, COVID was just evolving. So we cannot tell lies. We had to be as honest as possible. This is what we know about the virus. This is what we know. And as information comes, we will let you know. That taught me a lot about how you manage the media, and a lesson for all of us about how we lead in times of crisis. I'll come back to that in a while. So it has been very gratifying. I've had a number of successes. It has been challenging, but also gratifying. And there are proud moments that really stand out. You know, just this, on the left was, I was in the Somali region in Ethiopia, and a very small personal moment with the Somali regional team there to just recognize when we had managed to stop an outbreak of polio in the Horn of Africa. But it meant so much because of the effort that we had put in a very, very challenging situation, that was a success. But more so, the fact that in Nigeria, with the work that we did, I was leading the polio team there with the government and partners. The last stronghold of wild polio virus was able to be addressed, and it paved the way for the African region to be certified free of wild polio virus. That for me is a moment that stands out in my career journey. There's a lot I can reflect on. There's so much to say about my lessons, and picking out the most critical ones was not easy, but I will tell you some of them. Number one is that we are not born leaders. Leadership is nurtured. I told you I was a very shy person who prefers to work in the background. But we can nurture leadership. It starts with you. How are you building your experiences? How are you seeking opportunities to learn? You are here. That is a testament to that. You are in a leadership program. We need to nurture leadership and grow. And it is also not static. We are learning every day. I am in learning. I am still going to school. I'm still attending classes on leadership. I have a coach, even though I mentor and coach others, but we are nurturing ourselves. It is continuous. Do not be afraid to start small. Lead where you are. Sometimes we imagine that we will jump from somewhere to a podium. It's like they say, preachers. You don't need a microphone and a podium to be the preacher. It starts with where you are. Where you are. Lead where you are. Do not despise small beginnings. And I'm reminded of how I joined the organization. I did not have a proper contract. It was a 3-month contract with no guarantees that I will continue. But I did not despise it. I had done my medicine degree. I had done a master's degree. I was qualified. I was well qualified. But I took that opportunity, and it was a small task, but one door led to another. When you have the opportunity, maximize on it and work hard. Work hard. The spirit, where did we see excellence? Somewhere. That virtue of excellence is extremely important, because what you are doing is not only building you, but you are also building a reputation. And one day, you will be discussed. This is how leadership is. You will be a topic of discussion in a boardroom where you are not. And people will be dissecting you. That's just how it is. If you want to advance, be ready to be exposed. And what will they be talking about? They'll be talking about what they know and what they have seen of you. Are you a person of integrity? Do you work hard? How do you treat others? You will not be in that boardroom. So, where you are, do the best that you can. And it's not about people watching, but they are watching, but do it wholeheartedly, because it will open the door for you, and people will stand up and speak about you. It depends on how far you want to get in your leadership journey. I'm telling you what it is. When you get to a certain level, you will not be there at all. It will be people discussing you, and people discussing your work ethic and your record. So be open to start small, work hard, be a person of integrity, and treat others well. Do not be afraid of tough assignments. Sometimes we want to be in our comfort zone. I also liked routine. I'm very, with the left brain people, we are very systematic. We follow structure. We know we are predictable. We know how things are following and how they are done. There are SOPs there. And so when things come to shake up and rattle you, or you're given and told that you need to go and do an assignment that is out of your comfort zone, your immediate is like, I don't think I can do it. Let so and so do it. You're always taking the back end of when they need people to do certain things. You prefer to take the back seat. You are missing out on an opportunity to grow. Our best moments of growth are in times of challenge. That is when you are tested. That's when you build. It's like a muscle. Muscles need to be trained to become strong. That is the leadership muscle. It has to be stretched. It has to be stretched so that you can grow. And it won't grow unless you push it in a difficult situation, out of its comfort zone. Us who like to exercise will do, maybe we are just doing the simple walk, and we feel, it depends on what your motive is, but if you want to really move to the next level, you have to do something different. You have to stretch yourself. So, embrace opportunities of difficult tasks. Embrace change. When I was told to now move, an opportunity came for me to get my first international assignment out of my country, Uganda. I remember I had just had a baby, my second born. And my boss, the country representative at that time, called me to say they would like you to move to the next level, to move to Ethiopia. And my first instinct is, I can't do that. I have a child. My child was, I think she was 6 weeks old. There's no way I can do that. I'm not ready. Yes, I remember saying, I'm not ready. And he just looked at me and he said, go home and think about it and talk to your husband. In my mind, it was a no. It was definitely a no. And so I went back home and told my husband. And this is the other thing. There's the role of a supportive family or spouse is so important. How are you supporting your spouse to develop? How are you supporting your spouse to develop? But for me, I was not going to do it. First, my own comfort was that it's a no, but also I was not going to do something that was not in alignment with what my family was best for my family. And so it was my husband who actually encouraged me to think about it in a positive way and to try it. And so when I went back to my boss to tell him that, okay, I have discussed, even in my heart I was still doubting. He told me, he said, you know, that's a good decision, because if your husband is okay with it and you are okay to give it a try, do it, because opportunities do not always come knocking. You will have to find a way to manage. Both are important. Family and your career, both are important. You will find a way to make it work. And that is how I stepped out. So it was difficult. I had to move with her. I went to some difficult assignments with her. For the first year, I was on all the assignments. I would ask about provisions for a child. And it's only when you ask that you actually get to know. The organization can, I mean, what are you paying for a baby? It's just taxes. But then you now need to find someone to care. So I had to do all of that. But things fell in place. And I was able to carry both. Because of a supportive husband, my mother also came in to help. We have managed and we have built these children as a village. So do not shy away from challenging situations. That is how you will grow. When you ask what is leadership, we talked about service. That's what Mahatma Gandhi talked about. Leadership is about people. It's about listening. It's about being a voice. It's about influence. Underlying influence. Underlying empowering people. It's not about you. It's about others. That is leadership. Find mentors. All of us need mentors. Find them. Someone knows a solution to the problem that you have, to the challenge that you have. You're not the first to go through it. Find mentors. I have mentors for family, spiritual, financial, career. There is that one person who can help you. It can save you so much time and effort trying to find a solution in different ways. Someone has the answer for you. Don't be shy to ask. Who are you associating with? How do you spend your time? Who are your peers? Are you in networks? I used to think that working hard is enough. You can work hard. It's important, and you will get by to a certain level. But if you want to progress, you also have to get out of your comfort zone and build networks. Who are these networks that are important for your career growth? You don't lose anything by introducing yourself, seeking out, being visible to them, because people, and this is at a certain point, people will promote people that they know. Don't be deceived. Yes, your education, your experience, it is extremely, that is the foundation. Of course, we won't promote someone who doesn't meet the minimum qualifications, has not worked in, done ABCD. But at the end of the day, the decision falls on you as a character, someone knowing your character and being able to attest that you are the right person for the job. After all those other things. So, build networks. I was a shy person. I can share my weaknesses. I was a background person. I liked to do my work. But at some point, you have to break past that shell. You have to stand up. You have to speak. You have to approach. You have to, and that is what also education does to you. It builds your confidence. And you can be knowledgeable, and you can say something, and you can have the confidence to stand up. So it's important to break out of that shell. Work hard, be a person of integrity. That is what will speak for you in those boardrooms where they have to decide. Across the borders, I love this quote by Kofi Annan. We have different religions, different languages, different colored skin, but we all belong to one human race. All of us have come here from different backgrounds, different countries. We have different stories, but there's something that has pulled us here. We have a common interest. We want to do better. So, in working across borders, we have to learn to embrace these differences. This is what is unique about the world. Diversity is a strength. If you're in a group that you're all the same, you think the same, you do the same things, how are you growing? How are you learning from each other? If you're in a group, it's all one voice, we all agree, we move together, there's no resistance, I used to shudder about differences. But those differences are the ones that are important for you to grow. So, diversity is a strength. Do not be afraid to cross borders, to go and work I don't know where. If the opportunity comes, grab it and go. You will find a part of you, discover a part of you that you did not know you had. It also teaches you respect for cultures, respect for religions. We have to be culturally sensitive. It's actually one of the core values in the organization I work in, being sensitive to cultures, understanding the role of religion and what it plays. I came to Ghana and I'm amazed by the role of the traditional leadership institutions here. I've not seen it anywhere. We have traditional leaders, but you can't go to an important meeting in Ghana without the chief, without the tradition, it's eye-opening. It's quite marveling how traditional institutions are so part of social development. People trust their traditional leaders. As health professionals, we have to accept that and see how to leverage these institutions to promote health. Remember, I am promoting health. I cannot avoid traditional institutions. So understanding these differences and working with them in the society that you find yourself. Because you're in a new setting across borders, you cannot but be humble. You do not know everything. You learn the art of listening before you speak. You earn the art of adapting to how things are done. You can come in big-headed, I know it all, this is how it has worked in XYZ. You will fail if you do not study the culture, the people, how they perceive. And they are, you know, I worked in countries with two extremes of personalities. One that people are quite closed, conservative. You have to read between the lines. Silence does not mean I have accepted what you've said. I have to understand, what does this mean? I know I need to do something else. And then another extreme where we say it as it is. I will shout it, you will hear it, you will know, and we'll move on. So you adapt your leadership also to that kind of culture. Humility. The role of family support as you move across borders. Work is work. But at the end of the day, you go back to a constant, which is your family. You cannot leave your family behind. You have to decide together on how you move. And if your family moves with you, you have to make sure that they also adapt. You take the time to help them to adapt, to settle in, to be comfortable. Because at the end of the day, these jobs will come and they will go. At the end of the day, it is your family that will stand with you. So as much as I do all this work, I do not forsake the responsibility of being a mother, being a wife, and being part of a family. It has been extremely instrumental in my growth, where I cannot fill in, a family member has filled in. I cannot be at every parent-teacher meeting. I cannot be you know, at every sports day, or because work might take me somewhere. Someone is there. A family is there. My husband is there. So, and it's extremely challenging for women because you are the one who nurtures, you're the one who, we all have our responsibilities, and we also have to appreciate that every parent has a role to play in the way children are brought up. So even if you're a single parent, presence is extremely important. And it's time flies. I mean, this child I talked about taking to Ethiopia has already left, is in boarding school. I see her maybe once I see her 3 times a year during the holidays. But I'm glad that we made the sacrifice when I had to be present most of the time. So, across borders, I have had the privilege of meeting so many important people. I've done the trenches, but also had the opportunity to meet leaders. I tried to scramble around for some, but the adaptability, I had to learn to dress. I'm the one in green. I'm the one in pink in the middle. I had to learn to adapt, to meet kings, and I was so excited 2 weeks ago. We visited the Otumfo of Ashanti, the king of the Ashanti kingdom here, such an amazing experience for me, but also engaging at the highest level in Ghana, a real humbling experience. But this is the richness of stepping out of your comfort zone to go and work across borders, to learn and expose yourself and build those muscles of adaptability. And I've also gone to the world stage. It's not very clear, but on this right-hand side was the World Health Summit 2 years ago, on the stage with several global leaders. I cannot end without talking about being a female leader and what that means. The fact is, we are making progress towards equality in leadership, men and women, but we are still far from equality. We are still far. In my own organization, 30% of the leadership positions in the African region are held by women. And we've made progress. Don't ask me what the baseline was, but at 30%, we have made progress. So we still have a lot to do. And the point is that both men and women bring leadership styles that are unique and that are important for progress. Both men and women. It's not just about women making noise, we should have more. The fact is that leadership attributes are different and they are complementary to growth and development. So at the same time, we need not only women to champion this cause, we also need the men. The men to be the champions, and we need the women to lift up others. Sometimes it's competition. Sometimes it's, even among women. For me, the people who have brought me up through have majorly been men. And I value the role that men play in lifting up women. So it's a responsibility for both men and women. We all have attributes that are complementary. And as women, we have to be ready to lead the way we are, lead authentically, as we say. You don't need to change to be the tough, that you want to be like a man, to be able to lead and be accepted. Lead with who you are. You might think that they'll think it's a weakness if I am kind, if I am caring, Leadership is about people. The people who move things need to be approached. They need to be cared for. So you can do it of course, different situations call for different leadership styles. Sometimes you have to be authoritative, sometimes you have to be democratic, but bottom line is you do not need to change to be the leader that you think you should be. You lead the way you are. As much as women want to be leaders, it's not just about saying we need equality. Women need to be worthy of the leadership roles. How are you building your capacity as a woman to be worthy of a leadership role? Are we just saying we have to be 50-50, we need equality? No. When you get that role, the truth of the matter is women are judged more harshly than men. You are already judged before you even start. That's just how it is. So you can make noise to get there, but you will have to prove yourself. So build your capacity There are things men can get away with, but a woman will not get away with it. You will be judged differently. So build your capacity and lead in the way you are. Where you have a gap, going back to where I started, about self-awareness. Know your strengths, know your capabilities, know what you need for your team, and get people to do the things that you cannot do. Harness their capacities so that you move as a team. I have so many people I acknowledge all the time. People who have opened doors for me in leadership, people who have mentored me, people who have encouraged me, who have, sometimes you do not see leadership qualities in yourself, it's others who see it, and that is what happened in my case. I've had several of these. As you'll see, most of them are men, but I have taken time to be open and to listen to them and to accept what they see in me that others might not see. So you also might not see your leadership qualities. Be attentive to what people say about you and be ready to take the risk. Sometimes you do not see it, but others see those qualities. My last slide is to say that today, 1st of May, marks exactly 1 year since I stepped into Ghana. So it's a special day for me. It's when I reported here as the WHO country representative. And this morning, as I was reflecting on that day, I recalled the anticipation I had while I was flying into Ghana. Naturally, I had some anxiety. I was wondering, I've been to many countries, but this was my first assignment as a WHO representative. And so I was a bit anxious. I've led people, but this was different. And I was wondering, how is it going to be? What is ahead of me? You know, as you're coming into a new role. And I even asked myself a question. What would I tell myself, having been here 1 year, what would I tell myself 1 year back? I would say to myself immediately the answer came, I would say, be confident. Be confident. We are all human beings. We are all human beings wherever we are. And I remembered again this prophet Jeremiah, who was called on his assignment. God was telling him, you are going to go and speak to my people. And Jeremiah was saying, I cannot do this. How can I speak? I can't do it. And God was telling him that you are ordained for this. I have chosen you, and you're going to do this work. The purpose is already determined. Your purpose is already determined. And he put words in his mouth, and he was able to go and do his assignment. So naturally, we will be anxious to take the step to leadership, as I was 1 year ago. But when I look back, as Jeremiah was, but he went out, he spoke, and for me, I am looking back with gratitude for all the support that I have received in this country, for all the achievements that we have achieved in the last 1 year, and more so for my own growth as I crossed borders to come to serve the good people of Ghana. So I leave you with this from Nelson Mandela. What really counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived, It is what difference we have made in the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life that we lead. What is your purpose and how are you implementing that purpose? You too can be a leader. Thank you very much.
Please, let's keep clapping and give her a standing ovation. Indeed, she has broken barriers. Thank you very much, Dr. Braka. Please, let's keep clapping for her. Thank you very much. Indeed, it's an honor to have you here, Dr. Braka. We've learned a lot from her presentation. Please, let's have our seat. Thank you for that honor. Many things stood out for me. Many things stood out for me. And indeed, if I should put them in a book, I'll have a whole book, not a chapter, not a page. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Indeed, she's the epitome of this saying. Once again, let's clap for her. Thank you very much for that. So before the cultural display, we would want to ask ourselves, as we deeply reflect, what stood out for us in her presentation. For me, service. How about you? Those online, kindly put yours in the chat box. And for those here, you can shout it out. Anyone? Do I hear anyone say resilience? Do I hear anyone say any other thing? Any other word you can shout out? Determination, good. Any other? Come again. Confidence, good. Any other? Please come again. Okay, so it looks like we have learned a lot, and indeed it has been a great time. So leadership beyond borders, if you are joining us online, you are welcome to join us, and this is Onlep side chat, Fireside chat. Indeed, in culture, in our differences, there is strength. We have questions for you, Doug. We will come to that, but before that, we would want to take a moment to celebrate culture, authenticity, and creativity. If you need to use a washroom while the cultural display is ongoing, you can probably take a left. There's a door behind, and the washroom is just on our left. And at this moment, I see heads of department here. I see faculty. I see Mr. Seth Koga. He's the head of the UHAS Basic School. Sir, you are welcome. We also have the HOD for radiotherapy, Dr. Vivian Della Atuapo. You're also welcome. Our cultural troupe, are you ready for us? Please feel free to dance. I'll be dancing in my chair, but feel free to dance. So we have the Volta Heritage and Dance Ensemble. So you have 15 minutes. Please, if you have questions, put it down. Thank you very much. Looking at them, let's clap for them. And that's a Volta Heritage and Dance Ensemble. And I really enjoy this. I don't know about you, but I think I may have missed my profession. I could have been a dancer. Yes. How about you? Yes. So I have my partner there. I see you. Okay, so thank you very much for that. At this very moment, would want to hear from Dr. Braka. Well, she told us in front of the scene. She gave us hints of behind the scene things. But, Doc, we want more like Oliver Twist. At this very point, we would want to please kindly have a seat. I will join you. Then the questions would flow. So, audience online, kindly feel free to leave your name and location and ask your comment, maybe a comment, and also for our in-person audience, kindly also ask your questions, or please put them down, and when we have time, you would ask. Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we start, I have a confession. Please, when I grow up, I want to be like you. So let's start with your childhood. Can you please take us back to where you grew up from, and also some of the vivid experiences that really influenced and shaped you?
Thank you very much. So I was born and bred in my home country, Uganda. I was born in the capital city, Kampala, and spent most of my literally all my childhood and early life in Uganda. And after I had completed my bachelor's degree, I proceeded to do my master's in the United States of America. So I would say my childhood was in my country. And the things that shaped me, really the family that I was privileged to be born in was one that was really stable, I would say. I was privileged to have a stable childhood. Of course, there's external things that affected our growing up, like all of us who grew up in those days when politically there was upheaval and all of that. But those were external factors, and my dad was affected as well by the politics. But overall, they tried as much as possible to keep the family as stable as possible. And you know, when you grow up and become a mother yourself, and you know what it is to run a home, what it is to be in a marriage, I appreciate that the role that my mother played in making sure we remain together, we remain stable, we get the love and the needs that we have. It was a fairly, you'd say, middle class family. So I really appreciate that stability. And for me, what it also instilled in me is the values of family, the values of remaining connected, the values of love and care, which became part of my DNA, part of my leadership style, and which I'm using also to lead, leading with that compassion, with empathy. All those are values that I picked up in childhood.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you are jotting down your questions. Are we? Cohort 2. Are we? Great. So let me find out, a number of people here have had maybe different journey and experiences. But did you ever have doubts? Looking at your educational background, and did you ever have doubts?
Yes, I believe as you're going through school, sometimes it's not very clear what your path is. You will go through because you have to go. You just have to keep proceeding to the next level. But your goal, your aspiration is not always clear. And I found that even as we were now approaching the final years of secondary school, where you need to decide what subjects do you want to major in for university, because that is the beginning of your sort of path in career-wise. And I remember I was thinking about pharmacy, the food science, and yeah, medicine, yes, one of the choices. So just to say, sometimes it's not very clear what you want to do, and I don't think it's a bad thing. You just need to get more exposed, and or time can help you to make that decision. But I also had people around me, family that had already ventured into medicine, and we used to admire the work that they were doing, the white coats and how they were taking care of people. And I had the opportunity to go to hospitals, and just the longing to want to help people in need was being birthed in me. But I was not sure. You ask about doubts. I was not sure, can I really do what these people do? Do I have what it takes? They seem like very bright people, very clever people. Am I that clever? So you certainly have and I think it's a natural process that you need to go through and ask those questions. It's part of how you make your decision and find your path. So I think it's okay to have doubts.
Okay, so it's okay to sometimes have doubts. So let's delve into your early career. It was quite informative what you shared, and probably some may have started on a similar journey. But did you ever have any major challenge? If you did, what was your toughest, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, right from the beginning, breaking even to get into a public health career. I went straight from, after my medical degree, I did 1 year of clinical internship, and then I made a decision. I did a bit of clinical work, but not long, and that's when I decided I want to venture into public health and went to do my master's degree. And now when I came back, I wanted to be in a public health profession, in a job doing public health, but I had no experience at all. And the jobs that we apply for in public health, or any job, they are not only interested in your qualifications, but they would also like to get someone who has some experience. And that's the thing that has taught me as well, that looking out for young people, because everyone wants people with experience, but how do we help them to get experience? So I struggled with that because I was making applications and I was not even being shortlisted because I had zero experience in public health. And I wanted to join WHO. That was in my heart. It was a tall order to join an organization that leads in public health and you have no experience. Why would they hire you? But I kept applying. It was sometimes frustrating. And finally, to be able to be shortlisted for a position to join the WHO office, for me was such a big breakthrough. And it didn't stop there. I went in for the interview, and I read everything that has to be read about the role, about WHO, because I knew my weakest link was I did not have the experience. but you couldn't catch me on knowledge. I knew about the theory. So I was, of course, interviewed with people who had experience. And when they now came down to discussing who would be the best candidate, I came second. I came second in that first interview. And someone who had more experience, much more experience than me, came first. And so when the paperwork was sent to the boss to finally approve, the country representative to finally approve, he saw that there was not a very large margin between the first and the second candidate. And so he called the hiring manager and asked why wasn't the first was a man and the second was a female. And so he was curious what happened to the second candidate. It's a small margin. And the hiring manager said she was very good, knowledgeable, speaks well, she wrote extremely well, but she has no experience. And the country director said, build her experience. Find something for her. So I didn't get the job, but I got a phone call from the hiring manager to say, sorry you did not get the job. We did not take you in. I shortlisted you because, it was very funny, she was a Canadian woman. She said, I shortlisted you because I was intrigued by your CV. I had not seen a CV written like that before, with no grammatical error, no, very well structured and clear. Those are the days we used to submit CVs. You submit applications, paper applications. I had come back from America. They had taught us how to write resumes. They take the detail right down to even the quality of the paper. You don't just get any paper to send. It's nice, thick, consistency is different. The way you structure it, it was a good CV, that's what she said. I was curious to know, who is this person? And that is what drew her to putting me on a short list. And so she said, you don't have experience, we would like to help you to build your experience. So that is how I joined WHO. And the thing for me was that the challenge in a career is getting that opportunity to get in. And once you have broken that barrier, how do you prove yourself? I was in for 3 months, but I cannot tell you how hard I worked. Very hard, because I knew I needed to prove I needed to learn quickly. I needed to prove myself. So I worked extremely hard. I tried to gain as much as I could. So 3 months became 6 months, 6 months became 9 months. And after 9 months, a position became vacant. And this time, I had experience. And this time, they knew me. They knew I could work hard. They knew my work ethics. I was a person of integrity. I could work hard. And so that is how I then got a position in WHO.
Wow, that's very interesting. So please, it means let's work hard, get the qualification, but sometimes life has a way of positioning you at the right places, with the right person asking more. Who knows, it could be your CV as well. So at this point, would want to know, and still with your career, since you have been across different borders and working with different teams and different cultures, how did you build trust and align diverse groups in achieving shared goals and talents?
Yes, that's a very important question. When you have to work across cultures and different diversities and have to achieve, have to get the job done. So if you were like me, you would have been someone who grew up in a society that you're comfortable with, not much exposed to other cultures because your childhood and education were majorly in one place. And so coming out to work in a new environment where people are different. We are all human beings, yes, but the way we approach things, the way we relate with people, the way our attitudes are influenced by different things. It's interesting how you need to adapt. So for me, what helped me was that I generally am not very forward in my approach. I also take time to learn. I take time to observe. I take time to understand. And I take time to adapt. So my personality generally is like that. I'm not always the first to immediately speak without some reflection. So that helped me. I needed to understand. I took time to understand. And then the other thing is also seeking advice. Seeking advice from those that have gone before you in such situations. This is a time that I learned that you can learn very quickly by reaching out to people. And so the advice that I received from peers or colleagues was extremely helpful for me in understanding how to approach diversity and cultural differences. So at the same time, you are expected to lead. So you have a double responsibility. You have to adapt to culture, but at the same time, you have to lead people. So I had a lot to learn, and I took the time to learn, but we were also in a fast-paced program where you have to take action. So balancing that was a skill that I had to pick up. But as I said, humility, listening, adaptability, you do not know it all, and also consulting with people was extremely important for me in my journey. There were times when people within the team were not getting along. And you wondered why they were not getting along, but also why certain things were not moving. I also learned that you need to interact. The way you solve problems matters. Some people prefer to have a very outward, confrontational approach to solving problems. I found that one-on-one ways of interacting with people who have differences and then somehow bringing them back, or using people who can influence their thinking was extremely helpful. So each problem you had to find a way to solve it because the differences were there, the culture was different. So I learned a lot. And it has helped me. Once I moved to another place, I also used the same. And identifying people who can help you to solve a problem. I once had a problem as a team lead, and I wanted to go and solve the problem in a context which is male-dominated and where women are not really supposed to be on the front. But I was a team leader, and I said I have to do what I have to do. And I was just lucky that I approached a colleague who was senior male in the government, and he told me, no, do not do that. I will go with you, and you will not talk, I will talk. You will be there, but for these people to listen, I will have to do the talking, which was quite shocking for me because I expected as leadership, I should be doing something. This was my team. But once again, understanding how do you solve problems, when is the right time, who can help you? You need to be careful about your approach. So different contexts required different ways of solving problems. And I had to learn that. I still am.
Sorry. So, well, we are also learning that from you. And you mentioned balance in your narration earlier, and I'm curious, how have you managed, like practically? How many of us are mothers here? Aunties. The rich aunties are also here. Okay. So, how have you managed carrying your family along from country to country and still have that connection?
Yes, I get asked that question. I think that it's a gift to have children. Children are a gift, and we are entrusted to be mothers, to be wives, to have raised families as a privilege, and I think it is one of the highest callings you can have, to be given that privilege to raise children or to be a wife. So I do not take it for granted at all. I was happy to be married early after I finished my master's program, and we've been blessed with 3 children. And for me, it was important that as much as I wanted to progress in my career, that I also was fulfilling the responsibility of being a mother or a wife. I have to say that a lot of it has been due to the fact that I have a very supportive husband. And I don't take it for granted because I know that that is not the case in many instances. Sometimes it can be seen, first of all, our tradition, our culture, places women in a certain traditional role, and places men in a sort of role that is one that is supposed to provide, that is supposed to oversee, and yes, we are supposed to support. But the world is changing. Women are also becoming career women. And how then do you ensure you balance your career aspirations with raising a home and taking care of your home and raising children? So my husband plays a big role in this because, as I mentioned, I did not think I could move and take up an international position, but he encouraged me. He is actually been extremely, I think he believed more in me, or believes more in me than I believed in myself, and he always pushes for excellence, for leadership, for, you know, those things that push you, which I do not, which is not me. And so we had this struggle, and he was like, you need to do it, you need to try, you need to go, you need to lead, you need to, so that helped me. And I say this, you know, to the men in the room, to really understand.
Please hold on. Before you say it, please share it with your husbands and uncles and brothers. Share the link with them for them to join online, yes, so as she can share her advice to them directly. So you don't have to say it when you get home. So please, have you shared the link?
No.
Share the link with your family and friends, especially those who need to hear this message. Okay, great. Please, they've shared it. Kindly continue.
No, I'm saying it because I think as women, I don't want you to be in a position where you neglect family. As I said, these jobs are transition. They will come and go. But the family that you have been given, you have been born into, so not born, the family that you have been entrusted to be a part of, is what you will have at the end. And so you must find a way to make it work. And husbands are extremely important in your career path and shouldn't see you as a threat, but they should see you as someone that is moving forward for the good of the family. Moving forward for the good of the family. Because a woman that is empowered to lead, you impact society, you impact your children, who can also be future leaders in society. What happens in the home is where everything begins, where we shape character, where we shape values. If we miss that opportunity, we are bringing children out into the world who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And what kind of leaders are they going to be? So whoever can shape that narrative in the home, if they see a father that is supportive, a father that is respectful, that is what they grow up knowing. And like I said, we talked about background and what it does to you, what it shapes, how it shapes you. What they see, the way they see you treat your wife is how they will be shaped to treat their future wives, how they'll be shaped to treat other women. And so for me, finding one that has the husband, but also the men who believed so much that you as a woman can lead, for me was quite refreshing. And I kept saying, I have one son. I hope my son can feel confident, comfortable in his own skin, like his father was, to have a woman, a wife that can be able to lead and not see it as threatening, but really thinking beyond, thinking bigger than yourself, really thinking about the big picture that will allow a woman to thrive but still be part of a home. So I respect that. I respect it for men that allow women to lead. I respect it very much. I know that it is something we cannot take for granted, and there still needs to be a movement to break that cultural idea of what the role of a woman is. It's not easy. It's not easy because you also have a role as a mother and a wife. And so for me, I have had to learn to integrate all these roles. People talk of balance. I don't know if it exists, but you have to find a way of integrating the role. I have carried my children with me to where I have moved to. My husband has also been extremely supportive, stepped in where I can't. We are still married, thank God. And we have moved together. So it's not easy. I'm not downplaying the fact. It's not. but it takes all of us. It takes all of us to try and do that. And that means you, as the career woman, you also have to be very deliberate about fulfilling your other responsibilities, making sure you define the times that you hold sacred, the times that you need to spend with your children, with your family, with your husband, and doing the best you can to make it work.
Thank you very much. At this point, she shared with us a number of people apart from the husband who has been with her through this journey. But I want us to clap for the husband and also for everyone who has supported her all this way. And I hope he's watching and they're all watching. At this point, we would want to invite questions from everyone here, our audience. Anyone with any question? Okay, please, you can step forward. Okay, we have mics that would go around. Okay, so whilst we wait for him, I want to read this comment from Mustafa. He's with the cohort 1 group. He's joined us online from Nigeria. We've gone international. So listening to Dr. Braka was truly inspiring and energizing. One key message I took away from her speech is that real leadership potential is rarely discovered while sitting comfortably in familiar spaces. That message hit home. I must confess my comfort zone and I have had a long-standing relationship. But after your talk, I'm afraid I have officially served it a notice of separation. It can no longer make life decisions for me. From this point on, I'm stepping out, aiming higher, and determined to make history with a little less comfort and a lot more courage. Thank you so much for the inspiration. It was timely, powerful, and just the push I needed. Greetings to Prof. 1 and all UHAS faculty, and we are really proud of you all. Such a wonderful message on May Day. And you are making disciples. Thank you. So are we ready for the first person? Okay.
My name is Amos from Ghana. My questions are two. One borders on career development and the other one on leadership skills and strategies. Doctor, if you wouldn't mind, can you re-emphasize what intentional steps or decisions you would like to say was the most critical in advancing your career to the level of WHO rep? The second one is on leadership. What core leadership skills do you believe are non-negotiable for driving effective health system transformation in this, our today's complex global context? Thank you.
Right, thank you. My name is Okunam Joseph, an MPhil student at University of Health and Allied Sciences. I have two questions here to find out from you. First of all, the first one is, at what point did you realize of becoming a leader, and what has motivated you, despite being a medical doctor, which was already you were saving lives? And then the second one is, have you ever had any disappointment with any of the mentor, and what still pushes you not to give up? Thank you.
So I think we'll take these whilst we come to the side. Yeah, the questions are mainly Prof.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for those questions. In terms of intentional steps or decisions that were most critical in advancing my career. One of them was the fact that it didn't come from me. I actually had not envisaged myself advancing. Like I said, I was in a comfort zone, and it took someone else to see the potential in me and to draw it out, to tell me that we think you are ready to move. I did not look out for it. I was raising my family. I was in a job. I was stable. And so for me, I was not yet at the point where I was ready to change. And so I hesitated. But the critical step of someone identifying qualities in you and actually opening a door for you. And that for me is what leadership is about. That as leaders, we need to recognize talent, we need to recognize capacities, and we need to empower people and promote people. Not promote in a way of, but bring them out and provide the platform for them to progress. So that's a lesson I took from that. But otherwise, once I was there, I think that once you are in a leadership role, even in what you're doing, you must need to cultivate the desire to keep progressing. Life is not static. Life is not static. You can be in, I have been in the same organization. I've been in WHO for 23 years. So, but it's not like I've been doing the same thing. Why? Because I have found opportunities to push myself, to stretch myself a bit more. When you get to a certain point where you find that you are not on the edge as you used, you're not contributing as much as you used to do, it's more routine, it is status quo, it's not really stretching you. I think we need to recognize the right time to seek to stretch our leadership muscle a bit more. So you might still be in the same organization, but are you building yourself in a different way? Are you doing something different? Or are you okay to do the routine thing? So I also got to those points where after serving maybe several years in a role, I also was very deliberate to reach out and say, I am looking for an opportunity to grow. So I also eventually took the initiative because of the time that I had spent in a particular role. The core leadership skills that are non-negotiable. I think leaders with integrity, it's very hard to build your integrity and trust and name, but it is very, very easy to pull it down. And once trust and integrity are broken, you will have to work double hard to build it again. So you need to guard your integrity and the trust that is entrusted to you, because you are leading people. You are also privy to a number of sensitive things, issues to do with your team, your staff, sensitive issues. You need to safeguard things like integrity, like trust, like reliability. when you set out to do certain things, how do you ensure you do them? How do you maintain that trust? And also the fact that leadership is not static, you also have to keep thinking of innovative ways to keep the dynamism up to date, you know. I think leadership evolves. Leadership evolves. So these skills that are important, we need to understand them in the context that the fact that the world is evolving, and as leaders we also need to keep evolving. But the basic elements of honesty, of integrity, of trust, for me are non-negotiable. What point did you realize you wanted to be a leader? I think, yes, you mentioned I was doing my medical work, I was doing public health, and for me it was about getting work done. The door was opened for me by others. For others, you make a deliberate effort, but for me, it was a leader who recognized the attributes and opened the door for me, and that is also what I'm striving to do in my own leadership journey. Disappointments, yes. Every time, yes, 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 yes. That is the nature of the work you are in as a leader. Things will not always go your way. We are human beings, we disappoint each other, and leaders, you deal with so many human beings. All the quarrels and squabbles between people, you have to find a way to deal with it. Some people are easy to deal with, others are not too easy. You have to find ways of maintaining harmony, you know, and keeping your team going. Sometimes you set out to do certain things, you hit bottlenecks. So disappointments are part of life. The whole point is that, what do you do when you hit a roadblock? What do you do when you hit a disappointment? Do you give up? Do you find a way to solve the problem? Again, it depends on how you have been building yourself. Personally, I've faced challenges, I've faced disappointments, but I also know that those are opportunities for you to think how to solve, for you to think who can help you, for you to find a solution. There are solutions to problems. There are solutions to, and we are dealing with human beings. We are dealing with people. So there must be a way to solve problems. So I always am trying to be solution oriented and finding ways. There's not one cut way of solving a problem. You have to find ways of solving problems innovatively.
Thank you very much. Just when we're having so much like good information and we are getting inspired, time decided to run ahead of us and take us all along. Not us, so it's time. So because we are running out of time and there are few more activities to do, we'll allow for just one question. Okay, two, Prof, great. Hey, Prof, look behind you, the number of hands. 3, okay, so 3, please go straight to the point, and you're allowed to ask just one question. Okay.
Okay. Doug, I want to say a big thank you for making the time to share your experience with us. On the WHO platform, it says you played a pivotal role in the eradication of wild poliovirus in Nigeria, contributing to the African region's certification as wild polio-free in 2020. That's a very big achievement. But I know that programs of this nature comes with so much challenges. So I want you to tell us some of the challenges and what are the interventions and strategies you use to overcome the challenges. Thank you.
Okay, it's my polio story is very, very long, so it's I cannot do justice to it in a few minutes. But what I'll just say is that the the rest of the world, all regions had eradicated, been certified free of polio. We were left with only 2 regions, the Eastern Mediterranean, where Afghanistan and Pakistan had wild polio, and then Nigeria. These were the last 3 countries. And there was so much pressure on Nigeria. You cannot say Africa is free unless all countries were free. And so it was like Nigeria was delaying the rest of Africa. So we were under a lot of pressure. It took a lot of effort. I was leading the WHO team. It was, of course, the government taking the leadership with our support. We had the last frontiers of wild polio in insecure locations in the northeastern part of Nigeria. And that meant that there had to be innovative ways. Wherever the virus is, it will thrive. As long as there are children there, they will be at risk. So we had to find innovative ways, of course with the government, to be able to reach children in insecure areas. So that is a whole story in itself, but it required us to be innovative. It required us to open up to partnerships. We cannot, the UN had restrictions, other partners also had restrictions. There was active war going in, so we had to create partnerships to be able to do the work that needed to be done. So innovation, partnerships, there was a lot of goodwill in terms of support from the political leadership, from the traditional leaders. They played a critical role in galvanizing community support. So I think different tactics had to be used to be able to achieve that. For me, also, being a female leader in a male-dominated field, I also had to adapt. I had to be able to understand the culture and the norms, and I had to be able to harness a team that could be able to do what needed to be done in the context of where we are. So again, there's no one way of leading. You have to be able to be flexible and adapt to the context where you are leading.
Thank you very much. You are getting many admirers here, and I have a special note for you, but I'll read it last. So, okay. I think the last one.
Thank you very much. I'm really grateful to be part of this Fireside chat and being part of the Core to Onlep program. And my question is, like, as long as I am the oncology nursing leadership program learner or student, I want to know that the such specialized leadership program, does it align with the World Health Organization broader vision or mission? Thank you.
Let me repeat. Yes. Does this program align with? Yes, it certainly does. As I said, we are here to promote health. We are here to protect the vulnerable, prevent disease, and in the context of Ghana, the area of oncology, of cancer, is a high priority now. It is a political priority. We have a statistic that 45% of all deaths we see here in Ghana are due to non-communicable diseases, which includes cancers. And so His Excellency the President has prioritized the non-communicable diseases and has allocated a specific fund, which is the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, which is supposed to be caring for, providing specialized care for chronic illnesses, for these non-communicable diseases, so that we can ensure that it is addressed. So as WHO, we also contextualize to the country needs. So we have a program, there is a full program, the NCDs, the non-communicable diseases program within our country team. We have a team that is dealing with that. And so the area of oncology, the area of aspects related to capacity building, policies, strategy, all that falls within this program. But on top of that, as WHO, we are also promoting leadership programs. So just yesterday, actually, we launched with Ashesi University another cohort, I believe it's cohort 8 of a leadership training program for professionals in, senior professionals in government, in research institutions, just to build their capacities around leadership for the work that they are doing. So on two fronts, yes, the non-communicable diseases and then the leadership. And this is what this program is tackling, the leadership in oncology. So the answer is yes.
Thank you very much. At this point, please, okay, the last one, okay.
I wanted to ask, how does WHO assess experience beyond formal qualification?
Formal qualification.
The question again, I am asking, how does WHO assess experience beyond formal qualifications? So you made mention that when you went for the interview, you came out second because you didn't have experience. So I want to know what exactly in public health is going to make you stand out that when you go for these interviews, you would be picked. Thank you.
Yes, in the interviews, you have to be able to, there's what you write on your CV that shows your qualifications, it shows your work experience, that I have worked with this organization or entity, and this is what my responsibilities were. So that is what you document in terms of your experience, which is important, that we need to see that you have been able to put into practice what you have acquired through your qualifications, and that you are serving in a role that is aligned with what the job vacancy is. So if you can demonstrate that the work experience that you have is relevant for the position that you are applying to, that then equates to work experience. But at the same time, beyond that, the interview is able to, these days we not only ask very standard, the standard questions of interviews, but we are looking for competencies. So competencies that demonstrate you actually have the experience. So an example is, if we want to assess your ability to work in a team, we will ask you to give us an example that demonstrates you can work in a team. So we give you a scenario. Tell us a time when you were assigned a task that required you to work with others to achieve a specific goal in a given time. How did you go about it? What did you face? What did you encounter? And how did you solve? When you give your example, we will be able to judge whether you actually have that competency. Because for this job, you need, the job you're applying to, which is hypothetical, you need to demonstrate teamwork. So, not that you just write, I worked in a certain place, and so I have experience, but we are looking now at competencies. Competencies of teamwork, competencies of problem solving, competencies of negotiation, communication. All these are things that are important in the work that we do in public health and also in WHO.
Thank you very much. At this point, please pardon me. We are almost running behind schedule. Is yours a quick one?
Very quick one.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sir Excellence. I wish to understand a bit. What have you done in person to ensure or to help young Africans be able to meet up criteria or have experience so that they can meet up with WHO required jobs? And vividly again, you've quoted from Kofi Annan and Nelson Mandela. Please, can you drop your own quotation that we can reference you for? Thank you.
Okay. I hope you've picked something from today. Please just use any line I have said really that and use it. I ended with one about leadership across borders not being about geography, but it's about perspective. Please think about that. This is relevant to the topic we've had today, but there's also been a lot I hope you have picked out. What am I doing about supporting others? I am here. I'm here today. I'm here today. When I was invited, I did not hesitate because I am making it more and more deliberate to find opportunities to share my journey. So I read somewhere the famous man who died, Miles Monroe, who some of you may have read his books, who he always, he liked to say, we need to die empty, as in empty everything that you know. You can't take it to the grave. What will you do with it? So finding ways to empty yourself. Whatever I have experienced should not stay with me. It can help. Something small, I hope you have picked up at least one thing, and you can think about it and see how it applies to your own journey. Everyone's journey is different, but there is always something to learn. Just like I am continuing to learn, I appreciate that you also are eager to learn. So for me, it is how I mentor others. We have a mentorship program within WHO where we team up with colleagues who are aspiring to grow in their professional journey. So I have signed up as a mentor. I have gone through coaching as a certified coach. So the problem always is the time, but whenever I can find the opportunity to share, I use it to the maximum. So that is what I'm doing. We also encourage, we have a lot of people who come from universities or who want to come through WHO just to understand what we do, sit with our team and hear and learn. People who are in university or doing master's programs. So I also encourage that through my team, that we need to impart as much as we can on everyone, the next generation, so we can breed more leaders and people interested in public health.
Thank you very much. At this point, please pardon me that we can't take more questions from the audience. But someone sneaked one to me, and it says, and it's from Anonymous. It says, thank you, Dr. Braka. It's a rare privilege meeting you, and I have the following questions. What are the requisite requirements to apply for a job with WHO? So the job applications are coming through, and it's good this is the last one. How and when do I watch out for the WHO job alerts and adverts? Please, your social media handles, kindly share them with us. either your contact, which I doubt, and email address, please. Thank you. And when you are done, please add your final words.
Okay. So the whole process for recruitment is a very standard one that is we have a website, a WHO website that is open to the public. All vacancies, there is no shortcut. All vacancies, whether short-term, consultant, long-term, have to be advertised. And just like how I entered WHO, I went through the same. I saw, in those days they used to advertise in the newspapers. So I used to buy newspapers every day looking for job vacancies. So now it is simplified, it is online, and it's a detailed outline of what is needed for the role. The way you apply is also online. You put in your profile, you put in your cover letter or motivation letter, and then there is a process to go through all the CVs. So I encourage you, if you do not know the WHO website, we should be able to find, please just go online. These days it's very easy. And then once you are shortlisted, then the process will go. There's a standard way you are contacted and so on. Part of my job is to promote health, so I try to be active on my social media handles. I have one on X, and I also have on LinkedIn. Feel free to follow me. And then also as WHO, we have a very active link on X, on Facebook. So we keep the public informed on what is happening. We educate so that people know how to keep themselves healthy. So we do a number of posts. So feel free to also check and follow.
Your public could share your handle,
yes,
if you would want to.
X is
okay.
You will. Okay, we can share it. Yeah.
Share. Okay. So please, your final words.
Yes, my final word is first of all to thank you very much again, Prof, for this opportunity to be here. As I said, it's also a special day for me, and for me, going through the reflection has been enlightening for my own self, but I hope that also for everyone. And I want to encourage you that you come to these kinds of talks and you hear a lot of things. Sometimes information is too much. I encourage you to think about it. Think about what do you want? What is your aspiration? What is your vision? And know that you are capable of achieving that vision. With hard work, with the ability to step out of your comfort zone, you can do it. These are things I would tell myself if I were to encourage myself back in the day. That I need to develop myself, I need to keep growing, and I can lead. Tomorrow, we need leaders. There is actually a leadership vacuum. If you talk about women leaders, just to say women leaders, I get worried. We have a leadership vacuum for the future. And so we need to encourage one another to build our skills. Let that, when opportunity comes, that it finds you ready, and that you're ready to step into a role of leadership. And it starts with where you are now. Do not despise what you are doing. All of us started from somewhere. And when the opportunity came, we grabbed it and were able to move further. And for the males to be the champions, encourage not only men to grow, but also encourage the women. Together we can make a rich crop of leaders that are contributing positively. Both men and women bring unique skills to leadership, and we can do with both. So there's a place for everyone. So be those men that encourage, that champion your daughters, your nieces, your sisters, to speak up, to be confident, to be strong and speak up. They too can be future leaders. So I thank you all very much, and it's been a great pleasure having you on this chat.
Thank you very much, and I think she deserves a standing ovation. She really has excelled. Thank you very much for breaking the barrier and also going beyond borders. Your impact is felt. Please, let's clap for her. Your impact has been felt all through the continent. At this very point, we have our VC and Prof. Japan. Kindly step forward. There's an activity. We want to honor you. Prof.
Thank you very much, MC. Let's give a resounding round of applause to our guests. So it's been the tradition that we honor our distinguished guests. And so we have some English in a form of a citation for our distinguished guests. And Professor Margaret Japon will read the citation for her.
Thank you very much, VC, and thank you very much, Dr. Braka, Professor Braka in the making. Citation of honor of Dr. Fiona Braka. Dr. Fiona Braka, the University of Health and Allied Sciences, together with our esteemed partners, the International Society for Nursing in Cancer Care, City Cancer Challenge, and Amgen, extend our deepest appreciation to you. Let me look at your face. So stand this way so that I can see. Yes. So, extend our deepest appreciation to you, Dr. Fiona Braka, for your presence and invaluable contribution to this year's Fireside Leadership Chat as the guest speaker. As a public health expert and with over 2 decades of progressive experience in strategic leadership, in disease prevention and control, and public health emergency management, you successfully led large and diverse teams to advance primary health care and promote health security in various African nations. Your remarkable career reflects a steadfast commitment to strengthening health systems and improving population health outcomes across the continent. You have served in various leadership capacities within WHO across Nigeria, Ethiopia, Uganda, and now Ghana, most notably as coordinator of emergency response operations at the WHO Regional Office for Africa in Brazzaville, Congo. You have provided strategic leadership in responding to acute and protracted health emergencies across 47 countries. Your contributions to immunization and public health advancement in sub-Saharan Africa have been exemplary. As immunization team lead, you played a pivotal role in strengthening national vaccination programs and expanding access to essential primary healthcare services, contributing meaningfully to the achievement of universal health coverage and health-related sustainable development goals. Your leadership in the eradication of the wild polio virus in Nigeria stands as a historic milestone. As an internationally certified coach, you continue to inspire and mentor the next generation of public health professionals, demonstrating a deep passion for leadership development and capacity building. Your presence and insights at this year's Fireside Leadership Chat have enriched our understanding and inspired a renewed commitment to excellence, innovation, and impact in health leadership. In recognition of your exceptional leadership, unwavering dedication to public health, and commitment to mentoring future leaders, we in UHAS proudly present this citation of appreciation with profound gratitude, presented May 1st, 2026, a year exactly when you came to Ghana. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm very touched and deeply honored with the kind words. And I have not only come to be part of the chat, but I leave also more inspired to do more. I am challenged by my friend to do more. So I want to thank you. I want to appreciate you. I want to thank the participants for being a good audience. And I hope that you are also encouraged to move forward in your own journey. It is step by step, one bit at a time, that we will get to our destination, the destination that has already been determined for all of us. So utilize that opportunity. So thank you so much. Deeply grateful.
You can have your seat. You can take your seat now. Thank you. Yeah, you can take your seat. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Madam NC, and thank you, our distinguished speaker. Next year, we'll bring a male on the podium. Inclusion, right? You have to bring the male voice also. So, what is my concluding remarks as chair for this program? I have a 25 points that I took from the interaction. I am not summarizing, but I didn't see some of you taking notes. You don't come to this rich experience, this is life-changing, and you go away without taking notes. And when you take the note, you have to go back to it several times. But fortunately, it's on YouTube. Please go back, listen, and take notes for your own career. The few of them that I want to re-emphasize is the beginning of it all from childhood. Participants, you are all, almost all of you are parents, almost all. There's a few more. What are you going to do in your home that she had that drove her to where she is today? Love, care, the bonds that existed among the family members, and the values of Christianity. Yours may be Islam or any other. This foundation shaped her character and purpose, and she also said that early leadership opportunities were presented to her. She didn't really seek for it. But I like it when she said the spouse and family were very supportive. Some of us are single parents, all good. Some of us are divorced, and also. Whatever it is, she said that it is not the story, it is what you make out of the experience. So because of the situation you found yourself, you became more resilient, you became more independent, etc., etc. So it is not that the experience is a gold or cast in stone way, no. Yours can be different, but at the end, something good must come out of it. Now, 23 years of working in one space. But she said that she rose through the ranks, many opportunities, different environments to where she is today. The comfort zone. Somebody said, I'm saying goodbye to my comfort zone. It doesn't mean that you say goodbye to where you are working. Today is May Day. My staff, ICT team are here. Public Affairs, the Works Directorate, my deans and director, HODs, Eunice, and all, you are here. It doesn't mean that you should leave your house because it's the comfort zone. You seek different opportunities in the organization that you are working. And those of you who want to migrate, you don't migrate because of comfort zone. Anyway, but because I am not summarizing, I just want to say that for me, when I was listening to her, I said, hey, so this world, is that how it is? Some people are like you. They have strong support. Professor Dapo, one day I'll bring you. You come and tell us how your husband also supported you, your PhD. You wanted to come home, but he said, no, don't come back. But I love the picture she showed and how she dressed to fit the culture, leadership across borders. In all, I would not forget the integrity, the trust aspects, the way you should build your own confidence, the way you should be humble, and the way she said, be ready for the opportunity. It will be very sad when opportunity presents itself and you are not ready. But don't belittle small beginnings. So, Dr. Fiona, Braka, we say thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. You said that die empty. I'll try and die empty. I'll share all the things I know so that I can die empty. We really, really appreciate what you have done for these young upcoming leaders across these countries today. And I'm sure that as they go back home next week, they will take this experience home. I've shared a slide with them. I hope you don't mind. And I'll also try and get your social media handles and post it on their platform so they can follow you and interact with you further. So on this note, we want to thank Prof. Japon and all the other professors, Professor Datara and Mr. Koga and all the... I thought I saw Director Academic Affairs somewhere. As if he was hiding somewhere. I saw it in the video. But I thank you all for coming. Today is a holiday, but you have been here with us. God bless us all.
Thank you very much for that. Please, let's keep clapping for our own Prof. VC, because she took this initiative and today we are all here. All too soon, we are getting to the very end. And as it said, gratitude is powerful and we need to express it. To do this, we have Amos from cohort 2. Mr. Amos, are you here? Great. Please let's clap for him as he comes.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, respected leaders, ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues, on behalf of Onlep Cohort 2, I extend our sincere gratitude to our keynote speaker, Dr. Fiona Braka, for your powerful and thought-provoking insights. Your message has challenged us to lead beyond borders with clarity, courage, and purpose. In the same spirit of appreciation, we are deeply grateful to Prof. Lydia Aziato, aka Prof. 1, for your visionary leadership and for birthing Onlep, a platform that continues to transform oncology nursing and inspiring future leaders. Building on this foundation, we wish to specially acknowledge our value partners, the International Society of Nurses in Cancer Care, CCAN, that's City Cancer Challenge, and AMGEN for their unwavering support and commitment to this shared vision. In the same way, we sincerely thank UHAS for graciously and generously accommodating us. We are also grateful to our moderator, RD Eunice Bekon, for your excellent moderation, which brought depth and direction to this conversation. Finally, to everyone who made this a success. There are people who are working behind the scene, and we cannot appreciate you all by names. But Onlep Cohort 2, we say, God richly bless you. As we depart, may we carry forward not just inspiration, but action, leading, serving, and making lasting impact in our various communities and in the world. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Amos. Indeed, he spoke like the director of WHO one day. Yes. So as we wrap up, I just want to find out. Kindly stand up if you have learned something new today. If you have learned something new today, please stand. Kindly stand up if you have been inspired. Kindly stand up if you are ready to lead differently. As we stand, I would want to kindly invite Mr. Osman Mohammed to give us a closing prayer. Please, let's clap for him. He's walking majestically.
Thank you very much. Let's pray. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. It is you alone we worship, and it is you alone we seek for help. Guide us through the right path, the path of those who have earned your favor, and not the path of those who have earned your anger. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please, let's remain standing as we take the UHAS anthem. He looks like the next WHO country rep for Nigeria. Please, let's take the UHAS anthem.
Oh
Thank you. Please, let's take our seats. We are done, but at this point, we want to capture the moment in pictures. It's said that a picture speaks more than 1,000 words. So, Dr. Braka, please, you step forward with the officers as well. And please, faculty would come. Then the Onlep cohort would also join them. Any faculty here? Yeah. Mr. Koga, please, you would also join. So as we take our positions, just be reminded that we have refreshments just outside, and also would want to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to our online audience. We are grateful you joined. Would also want to say a big thank you to the ICT team, the PA team, the Onlep organizers and team as well. Thank you very much to the medical students who joined. We are grateful you were able to make it. Prof. Adatara, Prof. Japon, thank you for coming. To the cleaners as well, we say